Greetings my dears in love and light, Nikki Sutton here. Why do relationships fall apart during a spiritual awakening? So there may be a couple in a relationship and one person goes through a spiritual awakening. Now this may have happened to you. You may have already been in a relationship when you had your spiritual awakening. So you may know for yourself about any problems that you came across in your relationship and why you think they may have happened. And this video might help give you some comfort and reassurance that you're not alone in this. And in fact, it is a really common thing to occur. So when one of the partners in a relationship goes through a spiritual awakening, it's not just that they don't have anything in common anymore, it goes way deeper than that. But obviously the first thing is you don't have much in common anymore, okay? So you don't tend to want to talk about the same things anymore. You're not so much interested in the same things. So your outlook might change, your outlook on life completely change. So that includes priorities. So one day you may have been entrenched in your work and your career and prioritising success, financial success and business for the purpose of upgrading, bigger house, nicer car, and showing off to everyone, all these usual priorities that are drummed into us. You have your spiritual awakening and you feel like none of that matters anymore, but your partner is like, whoa, what is happening to you? Now, if you think about it from their point of view, they're losing the one they love. They're losing the one they know. You're transforming into a different person. And just imagine what of a different person you were before. Many people who have had a spiritual awakening say, I'm a different person to the person I was a year ago. Imagine how they feel about that. Imagine what your partner feels like. You had transformed. You're not the person that they signed up to be with, you know? You're a different person now. You may look the same, or you may not look the same, but it's a huge shift. Now your desires are changing as well, so you may desire to go travelling and see the world for a bit. You may desire to be on your own for a bit. You may even experience a dark night of the soul, a period of time where you go right deep and it's purging a lot of negative emotions as you're having all these realizations. You may desire to go out into nature and be on your own. You may desire to reconcile with family members. You may desire to go to marriage counselling or something. You may have all these new desires, and as your priorities are changing, it's creating new desires. You may want to set up an ethical business and not feel motivated to do the business you were doing or the job you were doing. And again, it puts you out of alignment with them. You have priorities together. You probably designed a future together. And now that's being broken down and they're like, well, what happened to the future we were expecting, that we were working towards? You may be wanting to live in the present moment now and they're wanting to live in the future. And the past, thinking about the future and the past and not understanding how to be present in the present moment and be mindful and grateful and all of that. But you're learning that. But they're not getting it, and it's not on their path yet to awaken, and they are putting up resistance towards you perhaps. Another big thing that causes resistance is when one partner is afraid of the other. So, for example, oftentimes in sessions, clients will say that their partner, or they both were religious, and this is how I've come across this many times. They're both religious, and then one has a spiritual awakening in terms of realising about reality and scientific stuff. It might be a bit of Buddhism and a bit of Eckhart Tolle and all the other books you read, and Bruce Lipton, all of these. And it's different way of thinking. And you may realise that certain things are not demonic, that you thought were demonic and evil. And that maybe heaven and hell and the judgment thing, maybe that's not quite right. Stuff like that. But your partner still thinks all this stuff. So they might become afraid of you and think what you're talking about is demonic or bad. And oftentimes they might not even like it if you do a bit of yoga or meditation. Now that's a tricky one. You're well out of alignment now. They might not like what you're doing at all, and then start treating you unfairly or maybe unkindly. But they feel like they're losing you, so their world is breaking down too. They don't know you anymore. So the upshot of it is that you have massively come out of alignment with each other. You've changed as a person. Your wants, needs, views, opinions, priorities, everything has shifted, and theirs may be the same. Yours have shifted away from being in alignment with theirs, and now it's not. How can you agree on anything? How can you aspire for things together? You may have different wants and needs. So what I'll say is, what to do, here's some ideas. One is communication. To communicate with your partner and tell them that you are the same person, but you're going through changes, and that you want them to be there for you, and you'll be there for them too, and to help them understand what's going on, because they may not understand and just see you changing. Communication. Explain, be honest, and figure out how you can move forward together and help them to be happy too. But you have to think about what you're willing to accept, because they might say, no, I want the old you back, you must do this, you must do that. But you may not be able to comply, because then you'll be living a lie, won't you? That rhymed. So you don't want to be living a lie. So you think about what you're willing to accept. So they may start to awaken too, actually, because I've seen this happen, that the partner is quite interested in what you've come across and the information, and wants to learn about it too, and they slowly start awakening. I wouldn't suggest trying to wake them up. It may make them reject you more and be more fearful, because they may not be able to comprehend or even begin to accept the concepts that you're trying to put across. So they may start to awaken. If so, take it real easy with them, take it real slow, help them through, do it together. If they don't, if it's full-on rejection, again, you've got to think about what you're willing to accept. Now, some individuals, they find their partner doesn't mind. They quite like this quirky new aspect of them. Your awakening may be nice and slow or gentle, or, just a really lovely one, and the partner just sees it. He or she is getting into some interesting stuff. I can deal with that. It's quite entertaining. It just depends. It depends on the people. It depends on the dynamics of the relationship. You may be able to get along fine and just go along together. They may love the new experiences, the new you, and enjoy the ride. It just depends. But this video is about why relationships fall apart, unfortunately. Now, those boundaries and what you're willing to accept. If there's no leeway and communication is not good, then you may have to think, well, I'd say give it some time, but consider, if ongoing, seeing if it's making you both very sad. Give it some time, try communication, and then over time, if it's still not going well, then just think about your life and theirs, and what's best for both of you. Okay, so please leave me and others a comment on what you think about this, and if your relationship has come across any challenges because of spiritual awakening. And like and share also these videos, because it may help others too. So don't forget to click subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, because we're raising a mass vibration together. So go now in love and peace.